Good morning. I'm in E Mixolydian today. And E Mixolydian has the same key signature as A major, 3 sharps. It's a wonderful bluesy sound. The reason I'm working on this is I want to be able to move between E major and D major. And when you do that, you're going from the 1 chord, E major, to the flat 7 chord, D major. And that's something you don't find normally in the key of E major. So that's why we're in E Mixolydian. So I need to be able to practice backup and soloing in all the positions. So just the movable shapes. And this is going from E major to D major, but I'm going to call out the cage shapes. So here's the E major shape. And then you just move it to the left. The G major shape to the left. The A major to the left. The C major to the left. And then the fun, as always, D major. And then to the left. So when the loop is going, I'll spend a little time drilling those. I also need to know the arpeggios for those same exact shapes, the E shape. G shape. A shape. C. And I'm going to do the D shape up here. Because I ran out of notes down here. So again, as the loop's going, I'm going to have to spend a little time on that. Then you've got the pentatonic patterns that match those shapes. So back to the E. And then the same pattern, just move to the left. Here's the G shape. A shape. C shape. And then I'll come up here for the D shape. So far, I went through all the cage shapes for these 2 chords. We're moving from an actual E major chord to a D major chord. And I went through the 5 movable shapes. And wherever you start, you just move to the left for the next chord. And then I did the same for the arpeggios, and I did the same for the pentatonic scales. So things get a little fancier here. If I want to solo over this with the E Mixolydian scale, I've got 5 positions of that. So you got to know the difference between the major and the Mixolydian. Here's major. Wrong. There it is. Do, re, mi. Well, you got to take the 7th note of that and flat it. So instead of, you do this. Now you can do that by ear and you can do it by brain. And sometimes when I get lost, I'll count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know the 7 should be flat. So I go a half step lower than what I'm used to. It's taking the major scale pattern and changing 1 note in it. All the D sharps have to become Ds. And I gotta tell you, I use my ear more than anything for this. And once my ear gets me in the ballpark, that's when I start thinking a little more. And you do have to change your fingering a little bit to do that stuff. So next is the G position for the E major scale, but I'm making it Mixolydian. That's what it usually is. Here's the Mixolydian. And then the A. The C position. And then the D position. And I like to go through the open position on this. And I'll practice all that through all 5 positions. But then there's something else I want to look at. So for each one of these things, except for the last one, but when I did the bar shapes, when I did the arpeggios, when I did the pentatonic scales, whatever I did for the E major chord, I just moved 2 frets to the left and did the same exact thing for the D major chord. And that works, especially if you're trying to move this direction. But what if you want to stay where you're at? And this is the one that's a little bit of a brain bender. And actually with that scale there, I did stay in one place because I think it's easier to discuss that. It's actually a little trickier to move that to the left. So anyway, let's look at the bar shapes. What's the E major here? Well, the E shape. Now I could just move that shape 2 frets to the left, but why not just stay right there? Well, if I need a D major and I'm going to stay right here, what shape do I need? Well, when I get lost, I try to think of the arpeggios. So let's go with that. That's an E shape arpeggio. Here's a D arpeggio without moving to the left. Let's see. There it is. So the E shape. And then the D. So the bar chords up here, E shape. And then the D shape, which is quite awkward, is right there. Well, let's go down here and try the same thing. So I have a G shape arpeggio, and I don't want to just move that to the left. I want to find the D arpeggio that's right here. Well, it's an E shape. Look at that. G shape gives me an E major. And then the E shape gives me the D major. Now that is a brain bender, and that requires practice, but it keeps your hand right in one place. So G shape, and then the E shape. So for backup, that's kind of cool. especially since I don't like playing this E bar up here. It's like my fingers are too fat. Down to the A major. So often the arpeggios save me. They help me know what's going on. And then I need the G shape to play. Look at that. A shape, G shape. Down here to the C shape. And then I'm going to use an A shape. Remember, we keep going back and forth from E major to D major. So the chords, C shape, and then the A shape. And, you know, some of these, I don't use these bar chords a lot for backup, but they guide everything else I do. You know, it's the soloing and little pieces of chords. Let's move down to the D shape. And then I'm going to use a C shape, D shape, C shape. So you got your chords there, the D shape, and then you got the C shape. So be able to run through those arpeggios and those shapes, really important. That's my E shape, D shape, G shape, E shape, A shape, G shape, C shape, and then the A shape, the D shape, woohoo, and then the C shape. The arpeggio, E, D shape, G shape, E shape. Why do I say it out loud? It helps me. Helps me focus. C shape, the A shape, the D shape, the C shape, the pentatonic patterns. I want to do the same thing, so I'm thinking of the shape and the arpeggio. Now I can do the pattern. E shape, and then I'm going to use the D shape. Next, G shape, E shape, A, G. Remember, I'm calling out the cage shapes, not the actual chords we're playing. The C, and then the A, and then the D, and then the C, so let's go back to the scale. So originally, I didn't just move the scale to the left 2 frets. I did it on one place. You know, and then when it went to the next chord, I just stayed here. Well, if you want to move it 2 frets to the left, it's a little trickier. And here's why. If we're in E Mixolydian, then the scale that goes with this E major is an E Mixolydian scale. But if we go to the flat 7 chord, the scale we're going to use looks like an E-shaped scale, Lydian. So it looks like an E major with a sharp 4. But it also, see, this is where I get confused. But I can tell you this much. I'm just going to think Mixolydian all the way down. But the truth of the matter is, when it does move to the left, the truth of the matter is, I don't know what I'm talking about a little bit on this. I swear I do. Yeah, the 1 chord should have an E Mixolydian scale with it, and the flat 7 chord should have a D Lydian scale with it. But I don't have to think about that, which is why I didn't do it in the first place. So, that's enough to practice with the looper. So, let's see what happens here. I can clear my loop out. I got my looper working. I don't know what did it. Let's see. My tempo is off. Oh well. Alright, so let's do the arpeggio. And this is the one where I'm moving to the left 2 frets each time. When I practice this stuff, I try to be musical. Pentatonics. So I'm doing this stuff where I'm always moving to the left 2 frets and just doing the same shapes. Up here. Now I'm going to do the arpeggios that are in the same location. A shape, G shape, C shape, A shape. Usually people don't show you their practice because it's boring to watch. So if you're bored, I get it. Let's try that again. Here's a D major shape. And then I need the C shape. So I can practice the bar chords, I can practice the arpeggios, the pentatonic scales, the Mixolydian. So now I'm going to just jam a little. Ah, did you hear that? There we go. Well, that's how I practice something new, you know. And you're seeing it in real time, man. I mean, I practiced a little bit before the video so it wouldn't be a complete mess. But as you can tell, I'm still practicing thinking. And I really eventually will get away from the thinking and the shapes and all that business. I think if you want to be able to play all the stuff out there, hey there, this is me. If you want to be able to play along with everything, one way to do it is just 2 chord loops. You know, and think about what it takes to do that. And how many possibilities are there? A lot. But there you go. Have a good day. See you later.